Beyond the camera's gaze and across the invisible lines of history lies the untold truth. Prepare to witness the extraordinary events and pivotal moments that fundamentally reshaped our modern world.
Excuse me, there's a line? I'm in a hurry. I don't have time for this.
We're all in a hurry. Go to the back.
You think you are telling me what to do?
That's not how it works. Wait your turn like everyone else.
You don't get to tell me what to do!
I'm not moving. You're next when the line moves. That's it.
Yeah.
An entitled woman believed she could push her way to the front of a lunch line and hurt someone without facing any trouble. What she didn't realize was that the calm woman in the casual dress standing in her path wasn't just another customer. She was someone with the power to make her regret every shove, every scream, and every lie she was about to tell. Before we dive in, we want to say how thankful we are that you've chosen to spend your time with us today. Your support is what keeps this channel alive and growing. Now, we're curious, where are you watching from right now? Let us know your city or country in the comments below. And if this is your first time here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the like. We got many more stories like this coming your way. One last thing before we get into the story. If you enjoy what we do and want to help us keep sharing these powerful moments, think about joining our channel membership. As a member, you won't just support our work, you'll also get exclusive access to Omni Studio, our brand new platform, where you can create personalized safety cards and test your mind with fun, brain-boosting cognitive games. Click the join button and become part of our community today. The afternoon sunlight poured through the windows of Rosewood Diner, a cozy neighborhood place known for its homemade burgers and welcoming service. It was a Tuesday, the kind of day where lunchtime brought in a steady mix of regular customers and first-time visitors. The line at the counter stretched toward the front door, but no one seemed upset about it. People chatted softly, scrolled on their phones, and waited their turn like respectful adults. Standing near the middle of the line was Janelle Morrison, a 34-year-old woman with a kind smile and a relaxed, friendly presence. She wore jeans and a soft gray sweater, her hair pulled back into a simple ponytail. There was nothing about her appearance that suggested power or authority. She looked like any other person stopping in for a quick lunch on her day off, and that was exactly what she was doing, enjoying a rare break from the stress of her real job. Janelle had been thinking about the diner's classic cheeseburger all week. She felt like she'd earned this moment. Most days, her mornings were packed with reports, patrols, and the responsibility that came with wearing a badge she was proud of. But today, all of that was set aside. No uniform, no radio, no weapon at her side. Just a woman waiting in line, hoping for a good meal and a little peace. The diner buzzed with familiar sounds. The grill sizzled, conversations blended together, forks and knives clinked against plates. Janelle glanced up at the menu board. Even though she already knew exactly what she wanted, she shifted her weight and checked the time on her phone. That's when the front door swung open harder than it needed to. A woman in her mid-40s walked in, her expensive handbag hanging from her shoulder and her face already tight with irritation. She looked like someone who believed the world should move faster just for her. Her name was Candace Pruitt, though no one inside the diner knew that yet. What they were about to find out was that Candace hated waiting for anything or anyone. She looked over the line with clear annoyance, her lips pressing together in disgust. Then her eyes locked on the counter, and she made up her mind. Would Janelle's calm afternoon stay peaceful, or was everything about to fall apart? You're about to see just how fast things can go wrong. Candace didn't bother acknowledging the people ahead of her. She simply walked past the line, as if it wasn't even there, her heels clicking sharply against the tiled floor. She moved with the confidence of someone who had never been told no, the kind of person who thought rules were only meant for other people. She reached the counter and placed herself directly in front of the cashier, cutting off the man who had been next in line. The cashier, a young woman named Trina, blinked in surprise. The man stepped back, clearly unsure of what to do. Candace opened her mouth to speak, but before she could say anything, a calm voice came from behind her. "Excuse me, there's a line." Candace turned slowly, her expression already stiff and annoyed. A few feet away stood Janelle, her posture relaxed but steady. She wasn't trying to cause a scene. She was just stating the truth. The line was there. Everyone else had respected it. Candace needed to do the same. "I'm in a hurry," Candace replied coldly, as if that explained everything, as if her time mattered more than everyone else's. Janelle didn't raise her voice. She didn't have to. "We're all in a hurry. That's why there's a line. You'll need to go to the back like everyone else." Now, people were paying attention. Heads turned. The tension in the room grew thicker. Trina stood behind the counter looking uneasy, her hand hovering near the register. The man who had been cut off remained frozen, caught in the uncomfortable moment. Candace's face turned red. She wasn't used to being questioned, especially not by someone she clearly saw as beneath her. Her eyes traveled over Janelle's simple clothes and ordinary appearance, and something dark flashed across her face. "Who do you think you are?" she snapped. "I don't have time for this. I'll order first, and then you can take your sweet time." Janelle's jaw tightened, but her voice stayed calm and controlled. "That's not how this works. Go to the back of the line." The diner grew quiet. Conversation stopped. Forks froze halfway to mouths. Everyone could feel it, the clash between entitlement and self-respect, and the unspoken question of which one would come out on top. Candace stepped closer, moving straight into Janelle's personal space. "You don't get to tell me what to do," she hissed. Janelle didn't step back. She didn't flinch. She met Candace's stare head-on, steady and unshaken. She had dealt with far worse than an angry woman in a diner. Still, something in her gut told her this situation wasn't going to fade away quietly. The tension was building, and everyone inside the restaurant was about to see something they wouldn't forget. The mood in the diner shifted. What had started as a normal lunch had turned into a full-blown scene, and everyone knew it. A few customers near the back slowly pulled out their phones, adjusting angles as they began recording. Small red lights blinked on. High above them, tucked into the corner, the diner's security camera kept rolling, silently capturing every word, every movement, and every bad decision. Janelle took a slow, steady breath. She had been trained for moments like this, just not while holding a to-go cup of iced tea and waiting for a cheeseburger. She recognized the warning signs, the flushed face, the raised voice, the way Candace kept stepping closer. This woman was escalating, and from experience, Janelle knew people like her rarely backed down on their own. They needed to dominate the room, they needed to win. But Janelle wasn't going to be bullied. Not here, not anywhere. "Ma'am," Janelle said, her tone still calm but firmer now. "I'm politely asking you to step back and wait your turn. This doesn't have to turn into a problem." Candace let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "A problem? You're the problem? Standing here like you own the place, telling people what to do." Her voice climbed higher, drawing even more attention. "I have every right to order my food. I'm a paying customer. So is everyone else," Janelle replied. And they all waited. That did it. Candace's face twisted with anger as she jammed a finger toward Janelle's chest, stopping just short of touching her. "I don't care what they did. I'm not waiting behind." She stopped herself mid-sentence, but the pause said enough. Her eyes swept over Janelle again, filled with clear disrespect. Janelle noticed it. So did half the diner. This was no longer just about cutting in line. Maybe it never really was. Trina, the cashier, finally spoke up. "Ma'am, please. If you could just stay out of this." Candace snapped, spinning toward her before turning back to Janelle. "You people always think you can." "Careful," Janelle interrupted quietly. It wasn't a threat. It was a warning. The kind that comes from someone who has heard those words before and knows exactly where they lead. Candace's nostrils flared. She was past reason now, past manners. She was running on pure anger and arrogance, the kind that made people do things they could never undo. She was seconds away from crossing a line that would cost her far more than she realized. And then it happened. Candace's hand shot out and shoved Janelle's shoulder, not hard enough to knock her down, but hard enough to make a point, hard enough to turn words into violence. The iced tea in Janelle's other hand flew from her grip. The plastic cup hit the floor with a sharp crack, spilling liquid across the tiles as ice cubes slid in every direction. The diner exploded with reaction. Gasps rippled through the room. Chairs scraped as people stood up. More phones appeared, recording from every angle. This wasn't an argument anymore. It was assault. Plain and simple. Everyone knew it. Janelle stood still for a moment, looking down at the mess on the floor. Her drink. Her quiet afternoon, ruined by someone who couldn't stand being treated like everyone else. She looked back up at Candace. Her face was calm, but her eyes were hard as stone. "You need to stop," Janelle said quietly, "right now." Candace didn't hear her or didn't care. She was too deep in her anger. To her, the spilled drink felt like a win, proof that she could do whatever she wanted. Her expression turned cruel. "What are you going to do about it?" she sneered. "Cry? Call the manager?" Janelle didn't answer. She stepped back instead, creating space, giving Candace one last chance to walk away. Candace didn't see it that way. She saw weakness. She swung again. This time, Janelle was ready. Her training took over instantly. She caught Candace's wrist mid-swing, her grip firm but controlled. No extra force, no unnecessary pain. Just enough to stop the attack and protect herself. In one smooth motion, Janelle turned Candace around and guided her forward, pressing her firmly against the counter. Candace's free hand slapped against the surface as she tried to push back, but Janelle held her position. It was precise, professional. The kind of restraint used by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Candace struggled, twisting and yelling, but she wasn't going anywhere. "Let me go," she screamed, her voice shaking with rage and shock. "Get your hands off me. Someone help." The diner went completely silent except for her shouting. Every eye was locked on them. Every phone was recording. Trina stood frozen, her hand hovering over the phone, unsure what to do. "Someone get security," an older man near the window shouted. "Call the police," a woman at a nearby table yelled. Janelle didn't release her grip. She couldn't. Not until help arrived. Not until the situation was under control. She had followed every step correctly, and now all she could do was wait and let the truth come out. But Candace wasn't finished. Even pinned against the counter, even caught in the act, she had one last move left and she was about to use it. Her voice rose to a scream that echoed through the diner. "She assaulted me. This woman attacked me for no reason. Someone call the police. I'm the victim." The claim was so ridiculous, so clearly false, that several people actually laughed, not out of cruelty, but pure disbelief. They had all seen what really happened. They had all seen it happen. They'd watched Candace shove first, swing twice, and put herself in that situation through her own choices. But Candace wasn't interested in the truth. She cared about control, about twisting the story until it worked in her favor. Janelle said nothing. She kept her hold steady, her expression calm and unreadable. She had seen this act before, the sudden victim routine, the dramatic performance meant to fool anyone who hadn't seen the full picture. Sometimes it worked, especially when the accuser knew how to play on people's assumptions. But not this time. Not with this many witnesses. And definitely not with this many cameras. "I saw everything," a man called out from a booth near the window. "You shoved her first." "Twice," he added firmly. "She was defending herself," a woman said, holding up her phone. "I recorded the whole thing." "Same here," another voice chimed in. "You're lying." Candace's face shifted from red to deep purple. Being called out was bad enough. Being called out by an entire room was humiliating in a way she probably had never experienced before. Still, she refused to back down, thrashing against Janelle's grip. "You're all blind," she yelled. She grabbed me. She put her hands on me first. Behind the counter, Trina finally picked up the phone and dialed. Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke to the dispatcher, giving the address and explaining that there was a disturbance that needed police assistance. She glanced toward Janelle, who gave her a small, reassuring nod. For now, everything was under control. The minutes passed slowly. Candace kept screaming, her voice growing rough. She demanded lawyers, threatened lawsuits, and dropped names of people she claimed had power and influence. None of it mattered. Janelle stayed exactly where she was, calm, professional, and patient, waiting for help to arrive. Some customers returned to their meals as the shock wore off. Others stayed locked on the scene, unwilling to miss what would happen next. The tension in the room was still heavy, but it had changed. Now it felt like anticipation instead of fear. Everyone sensed there was more to come, something that would tie everything together. They were right. Sirens grew louder outside as 2 patrol cars pulled into the parking lot. Justice was about to walk through the door, and Candace had no idea how badly she had misjudged the situation. The door opened, and 2 uniformed officers stepped inside, their hands resting near their belts as they quickly took in the scene. The lead officer was a tall man named Officer Derek Phillips. Beside him was his partner, a younger woman named Officer Amy Poston. Their eyes moved across the diner, noting the crowd, the raised phone, the spilled drink on the floor, and the 2 women at the counter. "What's going on here?" Phillips asked, his voice firm but calm. Candace changed instantly. The yelling stopped. Her posture softened. When she spoke, her voice shook with fake emotion. "Officers, thank goodness you're here," she said. "This woman attacked me. I was just trying to order my lunch, and she grabbed me out of nowhere. She slammed me into the counter. I think she hurt my wrist." It was an impressive performance. Her eyes even filled with tears as she played the role of the helpless victim, counting on the officers to believe her story. After all, she was the one being held moments ago. She was the one calling for help. Phillips looked at Janelle, who still hadn't let go. "Ma'am, can you release her and step back, please?" Janelle did exactly that. She let go smoothly and took 2 steps back, her hands visible at her sides. No sudden moves, no resistance, just calm cooperation. Candace immediately grabbed her wrist and staggered away from the counter, exaggerating her injury. "She's dangerous," Candace continued, sounding more confident now. "I want her arrested. This is assault. I have witnesses." Officer Poston pulled out her notepad. "Did anyone see what happened?" Half the diner started speaking at once, voices overlapping as people rushed to tell the truth. Phillips raised a hand to quiet them. One at a time, he said, "You, sir." He pointed to the older man who had spoken earlier. "That woman," the man said, pointing at Candace, cut the entire line. "This lady told her to wait like everyone else. She got angry, shoved her, knocked her drink over, then tried to hit her again. The woman in the sweater only grabbed her to stop the attack. Clear self-defense." "That's a lie," Candace shrieked. "They're covering for her." "I have it on video," the woman with the phone said, stepping forward. "Do you want to see it?" Officer Poston started to move toward her, but Officer Phillips raised a hand. His attention had shifted to the corner of the diner, where the security camera was mounted. "Does this place have working cameras?" Trina nodded, quickly. "Yes, sir. Everything is recorded. I can pull it up right now, if you need it." Phillips glanced back at Janelle, studying her more closely this time. There was something about her calm posture, her steady breathing, the way she had followed every instruction without hesitation. He'd been on the job long enough to recognize certain signs. "Ma'am, what's your name?" he asked. Janelle met his gaze evenly. She could have ended everything right then, but she chose not to. She wanted to see how far Candace would push the lie. "Janelle Morrison. And what's your side of the story?" Before Janelle could answer, Candace burst out. "She doesn't get a side. I'm the victim. Arrest her right now, or I'll have your badge." That was the wrong thing to say. Phillips's expression tightened. Nobody threatened his badge. And now, nothing about this situation felt right. Every witness told the same story. The woman being accused showed no fear, no guilt. And the woman making the accusation was acting desperate, like someone with something to hide. He made up his mind. "Let's review the footage." Candace's face drained of color, and for the first time, Janelle allowed herself the smallest, quietest smile. Trina hurried into the back office and returned moments later with the manager, a middle-aged man named Glenn, holding a tablet. The security feed glowed on the screen as he placed it on the counter where everyone could see. Phillips and Poston stepped closer, eyes fixed on the video. Candace stood stiff, her earlier confidence crumbling by the second. Glenn tapped the screen, and the footage began to play. The timestamp showed Candace walking through the door. The camera captured everything clearly: the long line of customers, Janelle standing calmly in the middle, and Candace marching straight to the counter without a glance at anyone else. The diner fell silent again. Even the kitchen staff paused to watch. Frame by frame, the truth unfolded. Candace cutting the line, Janelle speaking calmly, Candace stepping closer, her posture aggressive, voices rising, tension building. Then the moment no one could deny, Candace's hand shot out, shoving Janelle's shoulder. The drink flew for Janelle's hand, splashing across the floor. Officer Poston slowly shook her head. Phillips's jaw clenched. The video continued, Candace swinging a second time, Janelle catching her wrist with controlled precision. The smooth turn. The restraint against the counter. Clear. Undeniable. Impossible to twist. When the footage ended, Phillips looked directly at Candace. "That's not what you told us," he said. Candace's mouth opened and closed, searching for words. "The camera doesn't show everything. You don't understand. She provoked me. She was disrespectful." "I saw disrespect," Phillips replied flatly, "just not from who you're blaming." Candace's eyes darted around the room, looking for support, for an escape, for anything. She found only cold stares and raised phones. "This is ridiculous," she snapped. "I'm not staying here to be treated like a criminal. I'm leaving." She turned toward the door, but Officer Poston stepped into her path. "Actually, ma'am, you're not." That's when Janelle reached into her back pocket. Her fingers closed around a leather wallet she'd carried all day, the one linked to the life she'd tried to leave outside the diner. She pulled it out and flipped it open, revealing the gold badge inside. She held it up calmly. "Detective Janelle Morrison," she said, "4th Precinct. I was off duty, just trying to get lunch." The reaction was instant. Phillips's eyebrows shot up. Poston covered her mouth. Around the diner, whispers spread fast. The mood shifted from interest to shock. Glenn looked like he might faint. Candace froze, the color drained from her face. Every lie, every accusation, every attempt to play the victim collapsed in an instant. She'd assaulted a police officer, tried to frame one, threatened officers with their jobs. The weight of it all hit her at once. Phillips turned to her, his voice firm and final. "Ma'am, turn around and put your hands behind your back." Candace's knees buckled slightly. "Wait, no. I didn't know. This is a misunderstanding. I'm sorry. Please." But apologies don't erase assault. They don't undo lies, and they don't work when everything is caught on camera. Her apologies turned into sobs, then shouting, then desperate begging. None of it mattered. Officer Poston calmly read her rights while Phillips called for additional support. The diner watched in stunned silence, some nodding, others shaking their heads. Janelle stood off to the side, her badge still visible in her hand. She hadn't wanted any of this. She'd wanted a cheeseburger and a quiet afternoon. But some people leave you no choice. They force you to be who you are, even when you're trying not to be. She felt tired more than anything else. Tired of people who thought rules didn't apply to them. Tired of entitlement. Tired of moments like this. Phillips walked over as Poston led Candace toward the door. "I'm sorry you had to deal with that, Detective. You handled it perfectly." Janelle nodded. "Just another Tuesday." He gave a small smile, then turned serious. "We'll need your statement, but with the video and witnesses, this is open shut." She's facing assault charges, filing a false report, disorderly conduct. "Probably more." "Good," Janelle said. The weeks that followed played out exactly as predicted. Candace tried to fight the charges at first. She hired an expensive lawyer who took one look at the evidence and advised a plea deal. The video went viral, shared thousands of times online, with captions about instant karma and entitlement meeting reality. Candace's face became a warning, her name a joke. In court, excuses didn't matter. The judge reviewed the footage, heard witness statements, and listened to Janelle's calm testimony. The sentence was heavy: $25,000 in fines and damages, 200 hours of community service, a permanent record that would follow her everywhere. Consequences that force reflection. Janelle never returned to that diner, not out of fear, but because some places hold memories you don't need to revisit. She later heard that Glenn had framed a photo of her with the staff and hung it behind the counter, a reminder that dignity and restraint matter more than volume or entitlement. This story could have ended differently. Janelle could have lost her temper. Candace could have walked away, but neither did, and the result was a clear lesson in what happens when patience is mistaken for weakness and kindness for vulnerability. So here's the question worth thinking about. How many moments in your own life have been shaped by the choice to escalate or to walk away? Candace chose wrong every time, and it cost her more than money. It cost her dignity, her reputation, and the belief that the world would always bend for her. Justice isn't always this fast or this clear. But when it is, when the cameras are rolling and the truth can't be denied, it reminds us all of one thing: actions have consequences, no matter who you are, no matter who you think you are. If this story resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Was the punishment fair? Should it have been harsher? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories where justice finds its way. We'll see you in the next one.
Behind every single piece of data lies a complex and fascinating narrative. And within every narrative, there is a hidden truth striving to be brought to light. We genuinely appreciate you being here to uncover it with us today.